Hi, everybody. Welcome to Down Syndrome 21st Perspectives. I'm Leigh Frillici. I'm here with our host, Monique Johnson. Anna's not here today, but we have a very special guest, Mark Potts, and he is the commissioner of Challenger Sports. So can you tell me a little bit about what is Challenger Baseball for people who don't know?
Sure. So Challenger Baseball, it's a baseball league. The kids range from age 5 to 18. We play every Sunday. Well, we play 6 Sundays a year in the spring at West University Baseball League. There's 4 fields, 8 teams, 10 to 15 kids per team. So we have over 100 players.
Wow.
There are kids that are called buddies that buddy up with each of the kids. We also have each week a different high school baseball team comes out.
Oh, nice.
At West University, the men who run the league are called Green Hats. And so the Green Hats are out there kind of coordinating and getting the field ready and getting things ready for game day. And then there's the Guild, which is volunteer women that they do all the behind the scenes stuff along with my wife, Amy. And so I'm the commissioner, but when you see emails coming out with my name, typically I'm like the Wizard of Oz or somebody else that does all that for me. So it's been a lot of fun. Every game we start out with, I start out with some jokes, and then we do an invocation. We have a high school student that does the national anthem. That's an important role because I don't want to get stuck doing it. And then we play ball, and we play for 2 innings. At the end of the season, we have an end of year party.
Yep.
We have a DJ called DJ Kirk, who's disabled, face painting, and it's just a lot of fun. Food catered for Mandoles, a lot of sponsors. It's just
Wonderful.
We've been involved with the league for over 10 years. It's just been a lot of fun.
And is it for kids with all disabilities? Does it matter? Are there certain kinds that can
Kids
be
with all
there?
disabilities, nobody is turned away. Monique can tell you she was the coach.
Yeah.
We had 3 kids this year we have 3 kids with wheelchairs, and that can be a little bit of a challenge getting them in and out of the dugout.
Absolutely.
And kids of all different ages too. So it's a lot of fun.
And I think Mark failed to say he voluntold me to be one of the coaches of the Challenger League, which I graciously accepted. It was amazing. So I think for 2 years I served as a coach. And as Mark said earlier, Marley and Reese have been friends since elementary school. And it was just wonderful really to see them out there on the field having fun. And just really also I want to say too that Rotary Club of West U also provides support with concessions during the season.
Nice.
So it's a real huge community, very much of community involvement, collective community involvement.
Let me ask you, Monique, what did you see Challenger Sports do for Marley?
Well, I would have to say that it got him more engaged in the physical aspects. He absolutely loves basketball, but Mark, of course, as he said, he has a special relationship with Marley. And it was just really neat to see because initially he was, I don't know if I'm really interested in that, but he was little, right? This is 10 years, right, in the making.
Yeah.
And so as he got older, though, he just liked to get out there and try to hit the ball. He didn't want to use the tee. He just wanted to hit the ball, get the ball. And if he didn't hit it, he would be disappointed. So I like to think that they are just, even though they're kids with special needs, they're just as competitive as all the other kids.
Well, Leigh talked about that on a past episode, that Fritz gets frustrated batting.
Exactly.
What was fun about Marley in particular is that he really loved going up to bat and performing for the crowd. He really...
I love
That's true. You're making me remember. He'd do cartwheels.
He would do cartwheels.
When he came across the home plate, he would do cartwheels.
I love that.
And he especially liked the girls who were out there, the best buddies who would come and cheer him on. And be like,
that's
hey,
awesome.
Marley. And actually, as we shared in a previous episode too, our co-host, Anne, her daughter is a best buddy at Lamar.
That's right.
So we
really?
would see them quite often. A lot of the kids who are best buddies at Lamar would also come out and support the Challenger League during the season.
I love that.
So
I love how it brings the community together. Like you've got high
totally
school
does.
kids helping out or kids of any age maybe. And you were talking about, you also see it being transformative for like brothers and sisters of kids with disabilities.
Sure. So
families.
absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of growth. I mean, it's fun watching the players, especially the kids. They start sometimes they're very, very shy when they start, and very quickly they're getting attention, and very quickly, in a matter of one game or a couple of games, they're not afraid to get out there on that field anymore. Challenger is also very important for families. Sometimes brothers and sisters don't get a chance to cheer on their challenged sibling. Being a parent of a child that has challenges is also isolating.
Yes. Very good point.
Some parents are real tentative about letting their kids get out there, but when they do, what they find is that their kids are having a good time. Parents get to network. We get to talk about different schools. We get to talk about ARDs. We get to talk maybe supplements if some of the kids have the same conditions. And it's a time where everybody cheers on the kids. So at each field, there's an announcer, and it doesn't matter what team you're on. When Marley Garner with the Yankees coming up to bat, everybody is cheering the kids on.
That's true.
And you're saying all the same things that you said if you would be cheering at a regular baseball game.
Right.
Like,
That's true.
Nice cut.
Yeah. Come on,
way to go, Marley.
fastball.
Yeah. Come on, pitcher. What are you doing out there?
Let's go.
So
Cute.
it's everybody, we try to make it as like a normal Little League baseball game.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's gotta
And
be
the kids
rewarding.
love it. The kids love the concessions. They love, like you said, the relationships that they're building. I also like to, like Mark said, there are several kids that were on my team that were wheelchair, bound. And just seeing them, I mean, the game itself was accommodating for everybody, no matter what
Wonderful.
their disability.
I love
And it was just a wonderful, wonderful way. Sometimes I would get a little choked up just watching the kids. We also got sponsorship where we would have an annual pizza party. One of our Mark's dear relationships that he has, they would sponsor an annual pizza party. And they still do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
At a community pizza place, Candelari's. And so
great.
that's also a great way to get together. The parents get together. We eat lots of pizza. And Marley, that's Marley's favorite food. So guess what? We can't go wrong
He's
with that.
happy about that. That's
He's happy about
fantastic.
that. So just lots of wonderful memories. And I continue to support Mark and Amy, even though Marley's decided to step away from baseball. But we do get to go to the Astros game together and
that was great.
eat good food and, hang out.
Is that
Still hang
another
out.
event that the kids have? You go to an
That
Astros
was
game?
just we went as
Yeah.
two families together. It
Oh,
was a lot
sweet.
of fun.
Oh, that's very sweet. And you did get me with that family sometimes is for brothers and sisters. It may be their opportunity to cheer for their siblings. It's like, whoa, hadn't thought of that, but what a beautiful thing. What a beautiful thing.
Yes,
Yeah, that's
it
pretty
is.
amazing.
Yep.
So when how does this work? Like, when is the season? How can people sign up? How does that all work?
So there's a Challenger Facebook page. There's also just the West University Little League. There's a section there for Challenger. In addition to Challenger baseball, there's also Challenger basketball and Challenger
great.
football
Okay.
in the fall and in the winter.
Yep,
Those are
that's correct.
I'm not involved with those, but there's a lady named Joni Huska Fincher
Yes.
that runs that. She was one of the founders of the baseball league. And there's a couple things that I wanted to share, a couple stories about some of the kids and what I saw happen at Challenger. One of the girls in the wheelchair, her name is Claire. Her parents are divorced, but they work seamlessly together. And one time when I was coaching, Claire decided she didn't want to go up to bat. And so she got skipped in the lineup. And then about 15 seconds later, both parents and step parents were there saying, "Mark, what are you doing? How come Claire's not up to bat?" And I said, "She didn't want to go up to bat." And they were in the dugout saying, "Claire, you're getting up to bat."
Right.
Right. And so they
it's a
treat
collective.
her just like they would an able-bodied child. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
you wouldn't let your kid not go up to bat because they weren't in a good mood.
Yeah, exactly.
And then personally, this was life-changing for us, literally life-changing. My son Reese is deaf and blind and developmentally delayed, and he's not verbal. And for years, we treated Reese as deaf and blind, meaning that we had a teacher for the deaf, we had a teacher for the blind, and the teacher for the blind was trying to use his hearing to overcome his vision loss and vice versa. This girl, Gabby, joins our team one year, and we start talking to her parents, and they're telling us about interveners, and they're telling us she goes to the school for the blind, and they're telling us all this stuff that we had never heard about that we thought could really help Reese. And she only showed up for a couple of games. And we were really disappointed because we were going to latch on to these parents and just suck everything we could out of their mind.
Yeah.
A couple months later, Reese and I were at the grocery store, and we run into Gabby's mom. And she says, you need to come to this event, this open house. And so we go to this open house, and it was the opening of the Touch Base Center for the Deafblind, which is a day hab for deafblind adults. And we went in there, and they were expecting me. And two young ladies took Reese away. And, you never let your kid out of sight, but this was a really safe space. And there were people from all over the state there. We met all sorts of people, people from agencies, people with that work for the state, parents from all over the state that have deafblind children, people from the School for the Blind. And it was really interesting. At the same time, one of our Medicaid waivers came up. And what we discovered is that Reese is deafblind. He's not deaf and blind. He's deafblind, which means that there are, he's multiply handicapped. And it just totally changed our lives because suddenly we got plugged into this group called DBMAT, Deafblind Multi-Handicap Association of Texas.
Wow.
And these are people that we get together with a couple of times a year. Within a year and a half, we had Reese going to the School for the Blind. It just really changed our lives because we were there at Challenger. We were talking to other parents and networking.
Wow.
And
it opened up a whole new avenue, right?
Yes.
For you.
That was
Amazing.
pretty amazing.
And
That
I
is
remember,
amazing.
I do remember that. I remember, Reese and Amy are very engaged parents, and we're looking to find the right fit, right, for Reese. But I'm also laughing to myself, thinking about how much shenanigans Reese and Marley would get into, right?
Yeah,
I mean, I don't even really think of him as being, I know he's deaf and blind, but I don't see him that way. You know what I mean? Because I just, he knows my voice. He engages, he and Marley with their dog Blanco. I mean, they get into it, boy, or used to. Now they're teenagers, but they used to when they were younger. We'd be like, where are Marley and Reese and Blanco? Somewhere.
And on Fridays, I used to work half days, and somehow Marley knew this, and Reese and Marley rode the bus together, and Marley would get off at our house.
Yes, exactly.
How cute.
And I'd throw, he was always hungry. I'd throw a pizza in the oven. I knew Marley was coming on Friday.
Exactly. And they would call and say, hey, are you looking for your child? And I'm like, I know where he is. He's at your house. Right? So yeah,
Cute.
it was just a blessing. I mean, Marley, not only that's the sense of family, right? The sense of family, but also too, Marley felt safe and he felt loved. And I think that Challenger in and of itself creates that kind of community as well, right, Mark?
Yeah.
That people develop those relationships and those bonds, and they continue to grow over the years.
Yeah.
And anybody's welcome to come out and watch on a Sunday. West University is a particularly nice area of town, and their baseball facility is very nice.
Notch.
And I said there's 4 fields. Well, one of them is called Wallen Field, and it's the big field with the big announcer and the big press box. And that is typically the game that people invite if they're their grandparents and aunts and uncles and all the family, that people come to that one because it's just, you're on the big field. It's a lot more
big
fun.
deal.
Yeah.
Exciting.
And we try to rotate the kids. We try to rotate the teams. So everybody gets at least one game on the big field. We also rotate every year through the teams. So, you're not the Yankees year after year after year.
You get to be the Astros or the Pirates.
Cute.
And we have all the teams, right?
I love
so
it.
every year you get to be a different team. And also, didn't mention that at the beginning of the year, there's a big party. So there's a meet and greet, and that's where you take your pictures. That's where you meet your teammates. That's where and even then, that's catered. It's a catered event by the community. It's a lot of fun. And then we kick off that same day. That's opening day.
That's right.
So it's a big deal. It's opening day. Also, I liked that the league also very much engages different, as Mark said, different groups, but also love that Theater Under the Stars, different groups come and sing the national anthem.
Wonderful. That's cool.
And it's kids with different disabilities that can sing the national anthem. And it's just really it gives me goosebumps, right?
Yeah.
Because not only are we displaying kids in the multidimensional aspects and the way that they can contribute in their own unique ways. And so I just love it. In fact, I miss Challenger. I need to just come over there and hang out with y'all because Marley's not playing, but I need to come hang out. But he does still do basketball, and he enjoys the football with Joni.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Really nice. What was it like for you to be a coach? How was that?
Again, I was voluntold by Mr. Mark Potts himself.
She said she graciously accepted.
Yeah,
but I don't know about that.
Well, you know what? I would do anything for Mark and Amy. But it was amazing. I mean, like I said, I feel like I'm a natural cheerleader.
Yeah.
And I'm a sports person. I like engaging in sports. And so really getting the kids out there, I was truly like, hey, let's go team, let's go. I treated them just like any other person, right?
Yeah.
And I had set those expectations, even with Marley, like Mark was saying, when Claire didn't want to go up to bat, Marley wouldn't want to go up to bat. I'm like, look, dude, well, we're not going to babysit you, okay?
Right.
You don't want to play today, then hey, you can go hang out on the bleachers. But we're gonna play baseball because we're here to play baseball today. And so he wasn't treated any differently, even though I was mom the coach. But I would have to say that the most exciting part for me seeing him was when he run the bases, because everybody got to run the bases, right? No matter what, you got to run the bases, and we made sure that you ran the bases.
Yeah.
And then once you came into home, you could do whatever you wanted. Some people did, some people, danced, some people, waved their hands in the air. Marley did cartwheels. And so it was just really neat to just have that whole sense of community and involvement. And he appreciated that. Right?
Nice.
So I miss that part of I guess that community engagement. And then also too, this year, even though I'm not the coach anymore, I came to the pizza party.
Right.
Because I was invited, and so did Marley, and he ate up all the pizza.
And right, it's a testament to all the relationships, right? And that you're still connected to the community, even though Marley's not there right now.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
I think
and
that's a
I'll
beautiful
always
thing.
be connected to Mark and Amy.
Right.
I mean, they're family.
Oh, I
really
love
are.
it.
They're family.
I love
to us.
it. That's a beautiful thing.
Yep.
Is there anything else that I missed or we missed that we need to ask Mark about this? Or Mark, anything you can think of?
I think the football and the basketball, I'd like to, and you can share a little bit. I'd like to chat about that. That is, Joni runs that league, so it doesn't have the infrastructure or the support that the baseball league has, but it is as or even more amazing.
Absolutely.
So the football, it's at 4 different schools. And interestingly, that was the safest we ever felt was when Reese played Challenger football at Straight Jesuit, because Reese wanders a lot. Reese is always on the move. Reese is blind. He's legally blind, so he can see some. So and so he's always in a hurry to get somewhere.
Yeah. Very fast.
And so people kind of lose track of him. Well, the straight football coach said, you stick with this kid and don't let him out of your sight.
Yeah.
And
and they do a great job.
They did a great job. Yeah,
Excellent job.
All the schools do a great job. And then same thing in basketball. I think there's 4 weekends, 4 Saturdays that we get together.
Yep.
St. Thomas, St. Agnes Episcopal. And then also, another thing I wanted to mention, how great it was to have, there are other mothers that are coaches also.
Yeah.
And I think that's great. And I've been the commissioner for a couple of years. I took over for a fellow named Michael Miller, who was the commissioner for about 10 years. And I think it would be great. Unfortunately, it's too bad Marley's not playing anymore because, you'd be a great commissioner.
Yeah. Oh,
No, but it'd be great if
see what
if
I
a
mean
mother
by
came,
volunteering people? See what I mean? He's always got something up his sleeve.
Maybe
Anyway,
something
it's
in
a
your
good thing.
future.
It's
Who
good.
knows
It's good.
here, Monique?
Well, I will tell you this, that I love, Mark knows, I will volunteer my life away. I appreciate that sense of service. And I believe that my community, the people that I value, the people that I spend time with, are people who value those same things.
Yeah.
And we can't do this. We cannot be parents. We cannot advance. We cannot be advocates if we're not giving, right? If we're not sharing these things. And that's why I thought Mark would be an amazing guest. And also to your point about Joni, I've invited Joni to come on the show. And she said, yes,
Good.
absolutely.
Oh,
For a
great.
future date, would love to
Great.
do that. And so we'll hear more about Challenger Challenger basketball and Challenger football.
Great.
And she single-handedly handles all of that.
Wow. That sounds like
Yes.
a lot.
It's amazing. I don't know how she does it, but she does it every year after year after year.
I think she
without fail.
tells the schools what she wants, and they
Yeah,
do what
that's
she
true,
says.
that's
Yeah,
true.
she's
And they show up.
That's true.
she's
That's
a she's a force of nature.
true.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. And Mark, what's your favorite part about your job?
About being the commissioner is just seeing the kids on all the teams. I used to be a coach, so I was with Reese and with Marley and with my team, and now I go to each field every day, every weekend that we play, and check out all the kids on all the teams, and just looking at the families and the parents in the stands, seeing the kids grow from year to year to year. It's just so much fun.
It's priceless, right?
Yeah, but
It's
gosh, there was a
priceless.
kid that never wore a hat. And because he was playing baseball, he started to wear a hat.
Oh, that's awesome.
And now he wears a hat all the time, which,
Wow.
living in Houston, Texas, it's good to have your kid wanting to wear a hat.
Yeah.
So there's just there's so many big things and little things, and they all add up, and it's just wonderful.
Yes.
And another thing that I found very interesting is that people in the disability community that play team sports for 10 years or more have a 60% higher probability of full-time employment as adults.
Wow.
And employment gets you out of your house. It gets you to be part of the community. And right now my son is 18. We're starting to talk about transition to adulthood and what is he going to do during the day. And work gives you purpose.
Yes.
It gets you involved in the community. And so one of the good things that Challenger does is this team sport helps lay the groundwork
Yes.
for growth when they become adults.
Yeah. That's amazing. I had not heard that about that statistic, but I love it.
Mm-hmm.
And I can totally see how it would and can and does impact our children's lives and people's with disabilities. So definitely come on out, get out here on the field with us, get in the game, right? Let's go. And I want to put in a plug for Amy, who's Mark's left and right hand. She's not here today. But she's amazing. And as Mark said, she serves on the auxiliary and is very engaged and very involved. And thanks to both of them, we were afforded the opportunity to be a part of Challenger. And so Challenger's still in my heart.
Wonderful.
No volunteering right now, but it's still in my heart.
Right. Sounds like it's life-altering experiences for these families and
sure.
kids.
For
so
sure.
you're doing a good
And
job
we're always
there.
looking for more kids.
Yeah.
And I think Bel Air might even take a shot at starting their own Challenger League. I talked to
Wow.
the director of Parks and Rec over there, and he was in a fraternity at University of Houston that did a lot of special needs volunteering. So it's in his heart.
Love it.
And so I'm going to be
Okay.
getting together with him to see how we can help grow that over
love
there
it.
because we need more things like Challenger baseball for our kids.
We absolutely do.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Those experiences are precious. So wonderful. Well, Mark, thank you. Thank
Thanks,
you for
Mark.
joining
Yeah.
us today.
No, thank you for the
This was
invite.
fascinating. I mean, I didn't know a
Yeah.
lot of this. So thank you so much.
Yay.
We're glad you're
So
here.
spread the word.
Yes.
No.
We are spreading the word by doing this, and share it with your friends, and on and on and on. So thank you so much for joining us for Down Syndrome 21st Perspectives, and we'll see you on the next episode.
Yay.
Bye.
Bye.
We just wanted to let you know any medical advice or tips you might hear today in today's podcast, just know we're not doctors. This is just for you to think about. And if it works for you, great, but always check back with your doctor.